Okay, so another question that I was asked was, what advice would you have for someone who is struggling with an eating disorder? So the first thing that I would say to someone who approached me because they were struggling is what my brother said to me when I first told him that my bulimia was back, and that's that this does not define you. It's not who you are, it's just something that you struggle with, and I've talked about this in other videos as well. And it's really important to get this message across because what I realized is if I saw my eating disorder as a part of me, then recovery would be like going into this battle against myself, which you can't win a battle against yourself. You can't do that. It makes it much more difficult and very difficult to kind of grasp the concept of why you're trying to recover. But if you see it as something very separate, then it makes more sense because there's this separate demon that is trying to attack you and you're going up against that instead of going up against yourself. A good way of looking at it is something my therapist actually told me the first time that we met and we sat down together, and she said, you weren't born with an eating disorder. There was a time in your life when food was not an issue and you knew how to eat in a healthy way and handle food in a healthy way. So you don't look at recovery as going against what's natural. Recovery is actually about going back to what's natural. So that's a really important thing, especially when someone's in the first stages of recovery. If someone's not at the point where they're ready to recover yet, what I would say is you really need to break the secrecy. That was one of the first steps for me. And breaking the secrecy doesn't mean you have to go write an article for your newspaper at school or you have to tell a bunch of people. No, even just tell one person. There's something so liberating even just by telling one person. I started by telling one person. And that person can even be me. You can send me an email and just say, do you know what, Lauren? I'm struggling with anorexia, but I'm not ready to change. Just tell one person, because breaking the secrecy, you're starting to take the power back. You're starting to get the strength back. You're starting to take your life back from your eating disorder by breaking the secrecy in that way. If you are in a place where you're not ready for help or you're not comfortable kind of going to a therapist, being that public about it, I found a lot of really great books at Chapters bookstore. I mean, any bookstore will have them, just on recovery. Things like, books by Jenny Schaefer, Anemia Workbook, things like that. There are a lot of great resources out there, great blogs that, you can use those, before you're actually ready to actually go to therapy. I highly recommend therapy. I think it's necessary, but I know what it's like to not be ready for it. So maybe the step before therapy is buying a book. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video that actually shows some of the books that I really recommend that really helped me. So stay tuned for that. And then another thing is once, if someone is in recovery, this is again something my therapist told me, every step that you make, because I've been talking a lot about steps in the answer to this question, every step you make is progress. And that progress is your own and no one can take it away from you. And don't short sell yourself. Progress is a big deal. Every step is a big deal. So, reward yourself for that and find strength in your ability to do that, to take even just one step, to tell one person, to buy one book, to read one blog entry, to tell, to email me or to email someone else, whose videos or blogs you read or watch. Just every step is a big deal. So why not just take one step?